You're sleeping peacefully. No pain. No warning signs. But then, the next morning, you can't lift your arm, your speech is slurred. Or your legs just won't hold you. In that moment, your life changes forever. I've seen it too many times. Elderly folks, healthy lifestyle, no smoking, low salt. But one morning, they walk into my clinic, with that dazed look in their eyes, like they just escaped something terrible. Not from a heart attack. Not from a car crash. But from vitamins. Yes, vitamins. The very thing millions over 60 are taking daily to protect their health. Vitamin D, E, B6, A, niacin. Sound familiar? But here's what most don't know. Some of these, if taken at the wrong dose, wrong time, or mixed with the wrong meds, can silently increase the risk of stroke, brain bleed, or nerve damage. I used to think I was helping. Until I saw what it did to my own patients. And I knew, I couldn't stay silent anymore. In today's video, I'll reveal 5 common vitamins that can pose deadly risks if you're over 60. I'll share real stories, from people who just wanted to stay healthy, but nearly lost everything to a tiny pill. Most importantly, I'll show you how to protect your brain and heart, without relying on a single supplement bottle. If you, or someone you love, takes any kind of vitamin every day, you need to watch this. The next part could save your life. Every morning when you open your eyes, you believe it'll be just another ordinary day. But for many, especially after the age of 60, a peaceful night's sleep could be the last time they're fully conscious. No pain. No warning. Just a sudden fall when stepping out of bed. An arm that won't move. A sentence that comes out as gibberish. I've met patients like that. They didn't smoke. They exercised regularly. They even took vitamins every day, thinking they were protecting their health. But that's exactly where things started to go wrong. Here's what no one really tells you. After 60, your brain becomes incredibly sensitive to even the tiniest changes, blood pressure, heart rhythm, calcium levels. And when you go to sleep, your body enters its most vulnerable state of the day. But if something silently thickens your blood, or makes your vessels more fragile, or causes your heartbeat to become irregular, then in your sleep, that one thing could trigger a stroke, a brain bleed, or worse, keep you from ever waking up again. What haunts me most is that in so many early morning stroke cases I've witnessed, there was one repeated detail that almost no family member ever suspected. Not high blood pressure. Not some deadly chronic illness. But a single vitamin, taken at the wrong time. In the next part, I'll share the story of a retired Navy officer. A strong, disciplined man, who loved his wife, loved staying healthy. And how a seemingly harmless 10,000 IU dose of vitamin D changed his life forever. Don't take your eyes off the screen. Because what's coming next may forever change the way you see vitamin D. Vitamin D, the silent killer inside a tiny plastic bottle. Meet Mr. Walter. 74 years old. A retired Navy veteran, resilient, disciplined, and full of pride. Every morning, he woke up early, brewed his coffee, and followed a sacred ritual. Laying out his daily lineup of supplements on the table. There was calcium for his bones. Omega-3 for his heart. And one small 10,000 IU vitamin D pill, bought from a cheerful TV ad claiming it would fight osteoporosis. What he didn't know was that day after day, that dose of vitamin D was quietly pushing his blood calcium to dangerous levels. That his aging body could no longer flush out the excess like it used to. And that this harmless vitamin was slowly hardening and narrowing his arteries, millimeter by millimeter. One morning, his wife found him in a scene she'll never forget. Sitting on the chair, eyes open, but completely silent. His right arm limp. His mouth twisted. A stroke, in his sleep. Blood tests revealed critically high calcium levels. Severe plaque buildup in the carotid artery. Unstable blood pressure swings. Not from chronic disease. Not from genetics. But from a toxic dose of vitamin D, quietly building up over months. You see, vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium, that's true. But if you take too much, especially when you're not deficient, your body won't know where to hide the excess calcium. The result? Calcium ends up in your blood vessels, turning them stiff like plastic pipes. Leading to high blood pressure, reduced brain blood flow, and eventually a stroke. People over 60 don't need 5,000 or 10,000 IU per day, despite what the internet says. In fact, many studies show that 2,000 IU/day is already too much if you're not severely deficient. But even more dangerous than the dose is the timing. Taking vitamin D at night, when your body is winding down, can trigger abnormal blood pressure spikes in the early morning. And that's exactly when strokes are most likely to strike. Are you taking vitamin D? Do you even know how many IUs are in your pill? Check the label right now. And if it's over 2,000 IU, drop a D in the comments to let me know you just dodged a bullet. Because if you thought vitamin D was risky, vitamin E, the so-called heart helper, might be even scarier. In the next part, I'll tell you the story of a woman who took vitamin E to protect her heart, but nearly lost her life when a tiny vessel in her brain ruptured. Vitamin E, when a heart helper becomes a brain killer. Mrs. Evelyn Brooks, 81 years old. A retired librarian from Ohio. She loved books, afternoon tea, and truly believed she was taking good care of her heart. She had a minor issue with one of her heart valves. So her doctor prescribed warfarin, a common blood thinner. She went for monthly checkups, monitored her blood pressure, got regular blood tests. Everything was fine. Until she read a health magazine. Vitamin E improves memory, boosts circulation, fights aging. Sounds tempting, right? One little 800 IU capsule a day, who would suspect it could be dangerous? But just 3 weeks later, Evelyn was rushed to the ER with severe headaches, vomiting, and confusion. The diagnosis? Brain hemorrhage, a tiny blood vessel in her brain had burst. Not due to high blood pressure. Not due to injury. But because her blood was too thin to clot. What most people don't realize is, high doses of vitamin E act as a natural blood thinner, almost like a medication. And when you combine it with aspirin, Plavix, or warfarin, your body may not be able to stop bleeding when it needs to. One microscopic vessel cracks inside the brain. And the result can be paralysis, speech loss, memory loss, or worse. The recommended daily intake for older adults is 15 milligrams, about 22 IU. But most over-the-counter vitamin E capsules range from 200 to 1,000 IU each. No warnings. No clear instructions. And many people take them every day for years, completely unaware. Mrs. Evelyn survived. But now she walks with a cane. She can no longer remember the name of her favorite novel. She told me, her eyes welling up with tears. I just wanted to help my heart. I didn't know I was hurting my brain. I know she's not alone. Because too many people over 60 still believe, if it's a vitamin, it must be safe. But here's the truth. Vitamins aren't candy. And if you're taking any cardiovascular medications, please check your vitamin E dosage today. Because if you think brain bleeding is the worst that could happen, wait for the next part, where I'll reveal another popular vitamin found in most brain boosters, nerve tonics, and energy enhancers on the market. And if you take it the wrong way, it could permanently destroy your nerves. Vitamin B6, memory booster or silent nerve destroyer? Meet Mr. Harold Jenkins. 76 years old. A retired truck driver, diligent, patient, and always put safety first. After retirement, he moved to Kansas with his wife, enjoying peaceful mornings with a cup of coffee and his favorite radio station. Until one day, he began to lose feeling in his legs. He'd pick up his coffee mug, only to watch it slip from his hands. He thought, maybe it's just old age. That was until the third fall, when he hit his head on the edge of the sink, and his wife had to call an ambulance. I met him in the neurology clinic. And when I looked through the bag of supplements he brought, I knew exactly what was going on. Inside was a bottle labeled Neuro Support, Boost Memory, Improve Brain Circulation, Protect Nerves. Each capsule contained 100 milligrams of vitamin B6. He was taking 2 capsules a day. That's 200 milligrams per day, 20 times the safe limit for older adults. Unlike other water-soluble vitamins, B6 doesn't always flush out through urine. It can accumulate in the body over time. And when it exceeds the threshold, it begins to damage the myelin sheath, the protective coating around your nerves, like stripping insulation off an electrical wire. The result? Numbness in hands and feet. Loss of sensation. Balance issues. Tremors, dizziness. Brain fog and memory loss. Mr. Harold was lucky, we caught it early. We stopped the vitamin B6 completely, and the nerve damage was partially contained. But he still needs a cane to walk. And what broke my heart most was when he said, I just wanted to stay sharp. I didn't know I was poisoning myself. B6 is an essential vitamin. But only when used at the right dose and for the right reasons. Older adults only need about 2 to 10 mg/day, including what's in food. Yet many brain booster products on the market contain 50, 100, even 200 milligrams, without a single warning label. If you, or someone you love, is taking any product marketed as energy booster, nerve tonic, or memory enhancer, check the label today. And if you see vitamin B6 over 20 milligrams, leave a B6 in the comments to let me know you just avoided a hidden danger. Because if you think that's the worst of it, just wait for the next part. There's another vitamin, very popular among older adults for eye health and anti-aging. But when taken at the wrong dose, it can raise pressure inside the brain, blur your vision, cause nausea, and even mimic a real stroke. Vitamin A, from eye booster to brain pressure that mimics a stroke. Mrs. Dorothy Simmons. 79 years old, a retired piano teacher from Oregon. Her home was always filled with music, and soft sunlight pouring in from the garden view window. She didn't use Facebook, had no idea what TikTok was. But she deeply cared about her health. Every day, she took 1 vitamin A capsule, because she heard it was good for the eyes, brightens the skin, fights aging. 10,000 IU a day, consistently. For over 5 years. No one ever told her that was too much. Then one day, She started having dull, persistent headaches. Her vision blurred, sometimes even doubled. Then came dizziness, nausea, and finally, slurred speech, terrifying her family, who thought she was having a stroke. We ran an MRI, no bleeding, no clots. But the pressure inside her skull had spiked. The diagnosis, pseudotumor cerebri, a condition that mimics a brain tumor due to increased intracranial pressure. The cause? Excessive accumulation of vitamin A, blocking the flow of cerebrospinal fluid. Vitamin A is fat-soluble, unlike water-soluble vitamins like C or B. It doesn't flush out easily. It builds up, in the liver, in fat tissues, and even in the brain. And in older adults, the liver slows down, making this slow toxicity even more dangerous, often showing no signs until it's too late. What most people don't realize is, many multivitamins already contain the recommended daily dose of vitamin A. But then they add an extra pill, for their eyes, for their skin, for anti-aging, and end up consuming 8,000 to 15,000 IU/day, for years. Mrs. Dorothy is still doing okay. But she now has to monitor her brain pressure regularly. Her vision has significantly declined. And every time she opens the lid of her old music box, I know, the melodies in her memory are fading note by note. If you, or someone you love, is taking anything labeled retinol, preformed vitamin A, or skin and vision formula, check the dosage carefully. Because more than 3,000 IU/day can be too much, especially when used long-term. If you think that's the end of it, you haven't seen what happens when a vitamin prescribed to lower cholesterol ends up spiking your blood pressure, triggering heart palpitations. And worst of all, causing a mini-stroke without you even realizing it. Stay tuned for the next part. Niacin, when vitamin B3 turns your heartbeat into a ticking time bomb. Mr. Frank Miller, 82 years old, a retired postal worker in Florida, known for his discipline. He never skipped a morning walk. And he never missed his heart health vitamin, bought from the supplement aisle. 2 pills a day. The label clearly said, supports cholesterol, boosts blood circulation. But behind that label, each pill packed 1,000 milligrams of niacin. Total, 2,000 milligrams a day, 60 times the daily requirement for seniors. Then things started getting strange. Every morning, he woke up with a flushed face, like a mild sunburn. His chest pounded, fast and irregular. A sudden hot flash, followed by dizziness and nausea. His family thought it was anxiety. His doctor blamed the blood pressure meds. But the real culprit? Lurking in that heart-friendly vitamin. Niacin, also known as vitamin B3, is sometimes used in high doses to lower cholesterol. But at such levels, it causes rapid vasodilation, making your face flush with heat. Then, blood vessels constrict again, creating violent blood pressure swings. That expand and squeeze cycle is like tapping glass with a hammer every day, until it finally cracks. Mr. Frank suffered a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, or mini-stroke. Just a few minutes, facial droop, slurred speech. Then it passed. He thought it was just a chill in the wind. But when we investigated, niacin was the silent saboteur. After stopping the niacin, his heart stabilized. No more waking up in a panic. But he told me something I'll never forget. I thought I was protecting my heart. I didn't know I was gambling with my brain. Older adults only need less than 50 milligrams of niacin a day, including from food. But many flush-free, heart-healthy, or cholesterol support pills contain 500 to 1,000 milligrams each. No warning. No regulation. So what can you do to protect your brain and heart, without vitamins? In the next part, I'll share a simple, and free, solution. Something that can improve memory, lower blood pressure, and prevent strokes, without a single pill. And you'll be surprised. Because it likely already lives in your kitchen. The alternative choice, everyday foods that can save your brain. Mrs. Margaret Wilson. 73 years old. A retired school principal living in Arizona. She came to see me, carrying an entire drawer full of vitamins. Vitamin D for bones. Vitamin E for the heart. B-complex for the brain. Niacin for cholesterol. And a handful of daily multivitamins. And yet, she still felt exhausted. She woke up dizzy. Felt winded after just a few steps. Her blood pressure swung up and down. I asked her, "Do you feel any better?" She gave a half smile and said, "I just feel more anxious." So we did something. A little unconventional. We cleared out the supplement cabinet. Not a single pill left. Instead, every morning, she ate a simple meal, no magic powders, no mystery juices. A boiled egg, clean protein, easy to digest. Half an avocado, brain-friendly fats. A slice of whole grain toast, stable energy. A handful of blueberries, powerful antioxidants. A glass of warm water, to wake the brain without dizziness. And sometimes a few walnuts, for blood vessel protection. And after just a few weeks. No more dizzy mornings. Blood pressure more stable. A calmer, lighter mood. And most importantly, a clear, focused mind. She told me. I thought I needed medicine. Turns out, my body just needed real food. Why did it work? Because your brain doesn't need to be supercharged. It needs water, to keep blood flowing. Healthy fats, to nourish brain cells. Natural micronutrients, easy to absorb, don't build up. A steady eating rhythm, no skipping, no chaos. Want to eat for brain health? Prioritize these. Leafy greens, rich in folate and antioxidants. Fatty fish, omega-3 to protect brain cells. Nuts and seeds, vitamin E and magnesium. Whole grains, keep blood sugar stable. Berries, polyphenol that fight inflammation. Water, more than you think. And you know what's saddest? It's not that people don't know healthy food. It's that they've been convinced by the vitamin industry to choose pills over real nourishment. In the next part, I'll reveal how the supplement industry turns the fear of aging into billions in profit. And you'll understand why. So many people like Mrs. Margaret were tricked into buying health they already had in their kitchen. The vitamin industry, how it made $50 billion from seniors. Did you know? The dietary supplement industry in the US alone earns over $50 billion per year. And guess who their most loyal customers are? Older adults. Over 70% of Americans over age 60 take at least 3 types of vitamin supplements daily. But here's the paradox. Almost half of those supplements aren't even necessary. Why? Because they've been convinced by an incredibly sophisticated marketing strategy. Vitamin companies aren't selling products. They're selling peace of mind. They know exactly what older adults fear. Fear of memory loss. Fear of falling. Fear of becoming dependent. Fear of burdening their children. And above all, fear of losing control. And so they whisper. Take this one pill a day, and you won't have to worry about any of that. Sound familiar? They use buzzwords like brain support, memory restoration, heart protector. Smiling doctors in white coats. Glowing 5-star reviews from miraculously improved customers. Claims of being research-backed, with no actual studies cited. And most importantly, never warn about dangerous dosage levels. That's why people like Mrs. Margaret, Mr. Walter, Mrs. Evelyn, all believed, I'm doing the right thing for my health. But no one told them. Retinol builds up in the liver. Niacin can raise blood pressure. Vitamin E can prevent your blood from clotting. B6 damages your nerve insulation. Vitamin D can harden brain arteries. If pharmaceuticals require prescriptions and tight regulation, why are vitamin megadoses sold without prescriptions, without real warnings? If these pills can affect your brain and heart, why aren't blood tests required before using them? It's time to wake up. Not to be afraid, but to take back control of your body. In the next part, I'll go even deeper. Because it's not just vitamins. It's the mentality of more is better, that's putting people over 60 at serious risk. If you've ever thought, it can't hurt, I'll just take a little extra to be safe, then the next part will stop you in your tracks, and make you think again. The silent consequence, when your body ages but your mind still thinks it's young. Have you ever noticed that after turning 60, your body doesn't react quite like it used to? Wounds take longer to heal. You sleep less, but feel more tired. You eat the same way, but gain weight faster. That's because your body has entered a completely different phase. Your liver filters more slowly. Your kidneys flush waste less efficiently. Your blood vessels are more fragile. Your nervous system is more sensitive. But your approach to health hasn't changed. You still take vitamins like you did in your 30s. You still think, the more, the better. One extra pill won't hurt. Everyone else is taking them too. And that very mindset has led millions of older adults into silent, chronic overdosing. Which means you feel nothing unusual. Until one day, your hands begin to tremble slightly. You can't fall asleep as easily. You forget simple things. You stand up and feel lightheaded. And you tell yourself, it's just aging, I guess. But in reality, it could be your body's final whisper, before something serious happens. The aging body can still be strong. But it needs gentleness, precision, and patience. Not more stuff, but deeper understanding. Do you truly know how many IU of vitamin D is actually enough? At what dose does vitamin E thin your blood dangerously? Which form of vitamin A is safe, and which is toxic? Are there tests that can check for vitamin overload? If you're unsure, pause. Read the label. Ask your doctor. And most importantly, listen to your body. Because in the final part of this journey, I'll give you 5 incredibly simple questions. But if you ask them before taking any vitamin, they could protect you from the most costly health mistakes. And more importantly, they'll help you preserve your freedom, clarity, and mental sharpness. Longer than you ever thought possible. Self-check and wake-up call, 5 questions to ask before taking any vitamin. If you've ever opened a bottle of vitamins and thought, "It's probably fine, it's just a vitamin," then this is your moment to pause, and ask yourself these 5 questions. 1. Do I actually have a deficiency? If you've never had a test, and you have no symptoms, you might not need a supplement at all, or just a boost through real food. 2. Am I taking any medications that could interact with this vitamin? Aspirin, blood thinners, heart meds, blood pressure drugs. Many of these can dangerously clash with vitamins like D, E, or niacin. 3. Can I replace this vitamin with natural food instead? 1 egg, a handful of nuts, a few slices of salmon. Might be far safer, and more effective, than a highly concentrated pill. 4. Do I know exactly how much I'm taking each day? How many IU of vitamin D? How many mg of B6? Are you adding it up from multiple sources without realizing? 5. Who told me to take this? A doctor? A friend? A YouTube ad? That difference could mean a lifetime of health, or harm. You see, health doesn't come from the number of pills you take. It comes from awareness. From taking the time to truly understand your body. And from making small, but wise, daily decisions. Don't wait for a stroke to start asking questions. Don't let one tiny vitamin pill steal your voice, your memory, or your ability to walk. If this video opened your eyes, comment below, "I'm ready to listen to my body." And share this with someone you love. Because it just might help them avoid what you narrowly escaped. You're never too old to learn how to love yourself the right way. And it's never too late to begin again. Live clearly. Understand deeply. And keep your brain safe, awake, and free.